Welcome back to What's Trending. Joining us today is Keoni Stevens of KeoniProductions. Welcome. It's so nice to have you join us today.
I am so happy to be here.
So tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm Keoni Stevens. Keoni is Hawaiian. It means John. I'm not Hawaiian. It's just I fell in love with that name and I thought it was more interesting than John. I'm from Miami, Florida originally. Moved to North Carolina in 2012, the Raleigh area, about 2017. I'm an acting and modeling coach. I'm head coach of Avanti Modeling Talent Management in charge of development of the actors and models.
Okay.
And through that journey, I ended up meeting a lot of interesting people. And I decided, you know what? I want to make an outlet for a lot of these people that are so interesting where they can do something if they don't make it or not, because everybody doesn't make it.
Right.
And so I decided to do a show and I invited 60 people to interview and cast to do these 2 shows. Well, every single person on that camera wanted to do it. And I said, guys, I only have 2 shows. I can't, well, let's make more shows. And I'm like,
more
what?
segments.
And I was like, well, I can't pay anybody. And they're like, it's for you. We'll do it for free. And so since 2021 of July till today, I have a cast of about 60 people that have been doing various shows for me.
Wow.
Until the production company becomes, more fruitful.
And then and then it just becomes just expand and expand and expand.
Yes, that's what I want to expand and expand. The more people I can help, the better. It's actually an honor that everybody has so much trust in me because I know when I make it, everyone's going to eat at the trough, and you can't trust everybody in that fashion.
That's true. That's a hard truth too. Yeah. So you're an Army vet turned bouncer who was a bouncer at one point. So when did you decide? When did you know that acting, producing was something that you wanted to pursue?
Well, it's something that came out of sadness. 20 years in the Army, towards the end, I started suffering from PTSD, depression, insomnia, night terrors. People don't know it. I'm 100% disabled. I have, constant pain in my feet, knees, back, and neck. And I was looking for an outlet. And I remember growing up, everybody kept going, "You're so funny. You should be this. You should be that." But I came from the world of, you need a real job. You can't be an actor.
Yeah.
And I said, what better time? And so I found Avanti Modeling Talent Management in 2015. I went, got some training there, went through a showcase that they do, got a contract with an agent. Not big roles, but I did a couple of extra scenes in the TV show The Six.
The Six, that was on A&E, yes.
Yes, I did that. I was in a movie called The Fitting Finale.
The Fitting Finale, that's another one too. What was that experience like for you?
That experience was amazing. It was a play on a childhood show that I used to watch called The Wonder Years. And so it was a play on that. That was fun. And then I found myself around the set teaching more than paying attention. And I said, I might want to get into coaching. So I started coaching, and then I grew from being a coach at Avanti Modeling Talent Management to being their head coach. The wonderful Jennifer Ames, the manager, she saw so much in me and just helped me lift. And she's been so supportive of me venturing off and doing my own productions.
So how did you learn the art of production, the art of film?
I learned it on the fly. I learned it, what do they call it? OGT, on-the-job training.
Yes.
Many mistakes, doing many things wrong, costing me a lot of money.
Oh, man.
But I'm a hands-on and visual person. I can't sit down and read a bunch of manuals and books and procedures and instructions. I'll just go and do it and figure it out. That's the best way I learn. I can't do it.
And that is the best way to learn, honestly. Yes. Figuring it out on your own.
Yes.
And YouTube is another good tool.
Oh my God, that's the beauty of the world today. That's why when someone tells me, I don't know, I'm like, how do you not know? We have the cell phone with Google access and YouTube. You can learn anything.
Literally, at the drop of a dial.
It will not completely replace an in-person experience because even when you're watching videos, you can't get an immediate response.
Yeah.
So we're always going to need that. But yeah, you want to learn how to fix a car, you watch a YouTube video.
Exactly. So you worked with Lisette Cornegie. And she was also on our show, Ear Candy with C, and I just love talking to her. She's a special talent.
I love her to death. You see me smile, I can't stop
Yeah.
smiling when you mention Lisette. She's one of my favorites. I always tell her this, you're my favorite and my biggest pain in the butt.
So what has that time been like working with her?
Working with her is amazing. She is a person that expects the best brings the best out of people. And she's a person that's really motivated and driven. But just like anyone, she does need that cultivating. You know, everybody can always learn. My biggest challenge and what I had to learn to do with Lisette and people like Mark Jones that I work with are they're 20 and 30 years older than me. And sometimes people can find that hard to teach someone that's older than them.
Yeah.
But you have to have that confidence so they have that
And you have to have
confidence
that teaching ability too. And like for the older person who's like taking that teaching from someone who is younger than them, that is still kind of like their peer because we're all adults in the room.
Yes.
That can be difficult. That can be like a difficult pill to swallow. It's like, oh, I wasn't so good on that. A 6-year-old is telling me, and I'm like 20 years old, like how to do something, or like, it's like, no, that doesn't go there. That goes there.
Right.
So it feels like that, but it's a learning experience that we can all learn from each other regardless of age.
I learned how to do that from the Army. I was in the Army 12 years, switched my job, and they said, hey, you're going to be a dental specialist. I get to my first duty station. They said, you're in charge of the clinic. I don't know anything about being in charge of a clinic. So what do? I grab all the 19, 20-year-olds. Hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? Teach me this. You got to swallow your pride and your ego and learn from the people who know more than you.
That's true. That's very true. So how do you like handle day-to-day production tasks, or like what goes into a show?
What goes into a show does vary depending on the show. So I have about 16 different types of shows that I produce.
Wow.
Producing Triangle Tasters, which is an on-location show, is a little more of a challenge because you're on set, you're lighting, you have a whole production crew, you're dealing with a restaurant. And Triangle Tasters, for those of you who don't know, we go to local restaurants, mom and pops, and we showcase their food.
Okay.
And judge it. But then when you have something like Rise with Lisette, where you're dealing with one person, it's as long as they've got their camera set up right and the lighting in good space, you just have to make sure that they're following the cues and finding things. The biggest thing is finding how not to keep it stale. Keep it fresh.
Yeah, keep it fresh.
Multicast ones like Asiatic Gen X, which has 6 people who are pretty smart, which has a bigger cast of 12. It's a little harder. There's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of people to do.
Oh, wow. So how do you juggle all of that? Like,
I juggle all that by having an amazing staff. One, Jennifer Ames, the owner of Avanti Mall and Talent Management, keeps me motivated because she's owned her own business and ran her own ship for 30 years. So she keeps me motivated. My vice president of operations, Tequila Mason, is amazing. She keeps me on point, and I have 3 very, very now close friends, but staff members that live in the Philippines. So while I'm asleep, they're up getting my stuff done.
wow.
When I wake up, I open emails and chats, and I see this is done, what do you have for us?
Oh my gosh.
And I meet with them 11 a.m. my time is when I meet with them.
Yeah.
That's almost 1 a.m. there, and so they're up meeting me. So it's having a support system and people in place that have your goal, your mindset, and they want to see you succeed.
So what's trending right now in production?
Trending right now in production is, this will always be trending. It's my hardest thing to stay away from. Fake drama and negative things, because that's where the views come. And so one show that I get a lot of slack from, but I get a lot of people that praise it, is The Conversation. The Conversation is the political talk show that I do with Professor Dave from Troy and Harold Ford, who was the first NAACP president of South Miami.
Oh, wow.
And they're on that show. And they talk politics, they debate, but they don't argue and yell at each other and call each other stupid. And then when they agree, it annoys people. They're like, well, they're just agreeing. And I'm like, well, they're having a conversation. If one presents facts, they go, oh, wait, my thinking is wrong. You're supposed to,
And that's
your
something
thinking.
that normally happens in a conversation.
Yes.
You agree to disagree, and you disagree to agree.
But that will get me 100 views. If I put those two on there and they yell at each other and call each other's names and get derogatory, 1,000.
Easily.
Yeah.
So you do like all types of like different I'm gonna say genres.
Yeah.
Genres.
No, you're right.
So you do different types of genres. Have you done any dating? Do you have like a dating show?
See, you're spilling it. Yes. So that's on the. So my big idea when I started this, my website, my email is getting revamped. I want my website to look like Hulu. So it just happens that storing your videos is expensive. So where do you store them? We'll just use YouTube, right? So my website, the old one, when you go there, you can see the different shows. You click on them, and there's all the episodes.
Correct.
So it's all about content and having variety. I have an astrology show. I have a food tasting show. I have a crime show. I have several different types of talk shows. We talked about Asiatic genetics, my perspective. Pretty Smart is a show with a beautiful cast of African American women who are not only gorgeous but extremely smart. They talk about all things women-centric. And then the male version is Brilliant Swag. So it's
Brilliant Swag.
Yes, but that's a multi-racial cast. So
Okay.
Pretty Smart was one of my original three. I call it the original three. So it stayed true to that format.
Wow, that is fabulous. Well, thank you so much for sharing and spending time with us today.
No, I thank you for having me. I was honored when I got the invite. I went to the YouTube channel, subscribe.
Thank you so much for subscribing, and yes, subscribe.
Yes, that likes and subscribes, guys. You gotta help these channels out.
Yes.
And
we gotta help you out too.
I watched the interviews and I was just like, oh yeah, I'm going.
So where can we go to subscribe to KeoniProductions?
It's actually KeoniProductions on YouTube. KeoniProductions, Keoni Productions on YouTube. You'll see this logo right here. You go ahead and subscribe. Go to the playlist. It's the easiest way to find the different types of shows that you might be interested in.
Straight to the point. I love it.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Keoni.
Yes, and thank you for your infectious smile.
This is What's Trending. Till next time on Hello ENC.